Hello everyone, let's waste no time getting into this tournament battle report from the preeminent Melbourneian two-day tournament ConVic 2024. I attended back in August. Now, spoiler alert for the first episode, I won round 1 against the Rat-Cane Slaves, and that was pretty good. I didn't know what Rat-Cane Slaves did, but by the end I definitely knew what they did, and part of that was exploding, and part of that was me being able to kill them. But that was mostly luck in getting a flank charge with Hellstrikers. Will I get such a chance again? I doubt it. In round 2, it's against Oz. I've faced Oz before. Coincidentally, he was taking Ratkin back last year. So this time, though, he is taking the Varangur. So what list am I taking? Well, if you haven't seen it in the last 7 videos, here it is once again. We have, very quickly, Unforged Orcs, 1 regiment. Riftforged Legionaries, 1 horde. Rift Walkers in a troop. Hellstrikers in a horde. 3 Amberox, these are the shooting monsters. 1 War Drum, 1 Stormforged Shrine, a Riftforger, Thonar, and then the Iron Boots formation, which consists of 2 regiments of the Riftforged Legionaries and 1 regiment of the Reborn Legionaries, and simply all it does is provide a little nerve boost for each of them, so they increase their wave of route stat by 1 each, and there's a little wild charge aura on the Reborn Legionaries that affects Orc only, which is just themselves and the Unforged Orcs right at the top of this list. So that's the list. If you want more detailed breakdown, watch all the other ones where I waffle on, but I'll keep it quick. Now, time for some waffling because we've got Varangur to get into. And I'm reasonably familiar with Varangur because my co-writer, Goonhabber, who goes under the pseudonym U-R-R, had been running Varangur for about 2 years. So I was very familiar with a lot of the different kinds of units that he used. And a lot of them are making their appearance here. So we have 3 Night Raider troops, 1 of which has the Fire Oil, which does not affect anything in my army because I do not have regeneration. Then we have 2 hordes of human tribesmen, both upgraded with 2-handed weapons, so they are a fearsome, crushing 2, obviously going down to defense 4. 1 of them has the Blade of Slashing, and 1 has the Pipes of Terror. Then, for the fast stuff, we have Tundra Wolves regiments, 2 of them, so these are like light cavalry, but they've been made a little bit nastier with the Brew of Strength on 1 and the Blessing of the Gods on the other. So that's +1 crushing strength on 1 and elite on the other, so that they're now made much more like a actual combat unit, like an actual cavalry unit. They're still not quite the Sons of Korgan, but they are a bit faster. They got, I think, a built-in Pathfinder off the top of my head, so they're pretty good. But yeah, obviously no Sons of Korgan, but he does have these beautiful wolf models, so you might as well use them. Then we have 3 regiments of Snow Foxes, which are some fantastic chaff. There's a lot of different good chaff around all the different armies, but Snow Foxes are definitely up there because they have stealthy, and that's very helpful in helping them survive some early game shooting. Speaking of shooting, we have 2 Magus Conclaves. You don't see them that often, but they're pretty powerful. They're just this kind of, yeah, it's a war engine, but imagine it's a war engine because it's a bunch of Maguses shooting these, I think they're called blood bolts. So, you know, they're reasonably good, but you do have to remember the fact that they are a war engine, so they're pretty easy to kill in close combat. So you've got to look after them a bit. So, yeah, these are 2, that's his shooting, along with the Night Raiders there that he has at the top. So the 3 troops of Night Raiders, with, I think, they come bog standard with throwing axes, weren't upgraded to the bows. Then we have the Lord, which is just on foot, so it's just called a Lord, my Lord, with the Devoted Icon and the Sacred Horn. So I think that Devoted Icon gives him the Brutal aura, which is Brutal +1, and Sacred Horn obviously increasing his aura to an extended 9 inches rather than just the standard 6. Then we have the Snow Troll Prime with the Trickster's Wand, with Hex, which is really annoying, I gotta say, because, well, we'll get into it, but there's obviously in my list, there's one thing and one thing only that can get hexed, and it's one thing that I do not want hexed, because it just really shuts down the functionality of a lot of my army. And then we also have another Snow Troll Prime with the Talisman of Silence to give it Mind Fog to, which is a handy little spell that I think we're seeing more and more of as people realize that it's just nice to have this either ability to put Shattering on something that's getting shot at already, or later in the game to reach out and just potentially take something off that's already got some wounds on it. So quite a powerful little spell to have. And so that's the army. It's got its kind of slower components with the giant hordes of humans, and then we have the faster components of the Tundra Wolves and the Snow Foxes.
Affiliation partner of the channel, Pathfinder Game Distribution, are the only exclusively Mantic stockists in Australia. So if you're in Australasia area and need some Mantic product, be it Kings of War, Firefight, Dead Zone or Terrain Crate, then check out Pathfinder Game Distribution. Use the link in the description below or the code Caffeinated Warlord for 15% off.
So the second round game is Plunder. So Plunder is a pretty simple scenario in that there's 5 tokens along the center line. They're just spread out here. You get agency to place them, but really it doesn't matter because there's one in the middle, and then we take turns placing them, and so it usually ends up pretty equidistant apart from like blocking terrain needing to be 3 inches away from a token, so that can stymie efforts. But yeah, it usually always looks like this. What's different about Plunder and what makes it interesting is that we each get to nominate a token after our armies are down. Nominate a token to be worth 2 victory points rather than the standard 1. So the wooden, these MDF tokens here, were both chosen to be 2 victory points, while the white plastic ones are just 1. And so you can see it's pretty even. We've got the 2 here and a 2 here, and the rest are 1 victory point each. And so going into the terrain just quickly, so it's all the pretty standard stuff. You have height 3 hills. They're very big, chunky hills here, so these are awesome big flat hills. And what I should say about this is actually the whole tournament had the same kind of hills. These big kind of just green, almost quite, not, I wouldn't say, yeah, they are flat. They're raised up, but it's just one, it's not like a slope where your models might, you know, tumble down or slide down or tilt over. These are very functional hills. They look pretty good, you know, they look pretty good here, but they're just so functional because you can put units on there, and we even got special little 3D printed little tools that were just the right height that you could slip under a unit to maintain its balance while on a hill, with these hills in mind. So it was a very, it just improved the gameplay a lot in that you could put things on hills confidently and it didn't just kind of fall away and you go, oh, well, where was it? Or, you know, things that are in combat and you can't quite get them flush because of the way the hill is. It was a lot easier to make things really neat around hills. Still wasn't the case with obstacles, but you know, whatever. Obstacles are always annoying unless you have some little template underneath. But hey, they tackled hills and that was good. So, height 3 hills. After my little sojourn into hills, then we have 2 forests. So 1 forest right here in his deployment zone, and then a strip of forest here on the right side that I just tried to ignore. Difficult terrain, the flat kind. We've got 1 here under my Hell Strikers, so a big kind of swamp over there. And where's the other one? There it is. It's underneath all of this. So you can see the Tundra Wolves are all, pretty much everything is in that terrain because I think it just doesn't want to get shot. It's a lot of defense for these Tundra Wolves, and they want to get shot early because I don't think they have that much nerf. I think it's like 14, 16, which, having familiarity with my Abyssal Horsemen, is pretty much 1 round of shooting away from Wavertown. Then we have this building here with the 2 obstacles jutting out of it, and the other building over here. So there's the impassable terrain, height 9, can't really see over them, even with a big guy on top of a hill. So that is the layout. Now, coming down to deployment, I have figured out most of the time that the best way to deploy this army is as so. Just boom, right in the middle, with something to protect them on the flank. So that would be this building, this hill, and this forest. So it's kind of hard for something to come around the right side to get into my army. And so then I've deployed lots of the infantry in the front. So we've got the Horde, that's the infantry Horde. Unforged Orcs are here, they're brown because they don't get the cool armor. And then we have the formation pretty much right here. So that's the 2 regiments of Riftforged at the front. And I always put my Reborn at the back because they have the inspiring. They're only 1 of 3 sources of inspiring in my army. So I really don't want to just kind of give them away. Let's get the laser pointer out. The laser pointer will definitely help. Ta-da! Okay. So that's kind of the deployment when it comes to the infantry. Then I like to put my Amber Oxen in between the different regiments, so you can see that here, and they're perfect for just kind of getting in the way and just being kind of a last minute chaff as my lines get closer. I have my Riftwalkers usually behind the horde of legionaries because I like to have something that can actually help chaff them so that they don't get multi-charge, triple charge, quadruple charge. And then I always have my shrine behind there, and always near my shrine my Riftforger, because unfortunately, as you saw, points are very tight in this army. I do not have the points to give my Riftforger his own host Shadowbeast, which normally is the thing you want to do. You want him to take his own host Shadowbeast. Unfortunately, I have to rely on the Stormforged Shrine giving out that host Shadowbeast, but you know, that works most of the time. That seems to be sufficient, unless I get hexed. Then I have my fast flank, but not too far on the flank. It's just kind of right at the edge of it. So we've got Thonar and the Hellstrikers. So that is the layout of my whole army, right in the middle, ready to go forward. I can definitely get that 2 victory point token there because I'm pretty confident that my horde of legionaries and my horde of Hellstrikers can overcome whatever these dogs are capable of doing, but they are also capable of redeploying themselves. So they might just decide to abandon this whole side, as I've kind of heavily deployed all these forces here, whereas the regiments are a bit more piecemeal. You can kind of take them out. I should be able to get this token here on the left, and I should be able to get the middle token. It's just this right one and the far right one I was concerned of, just how I might get to them. But, you know, if he grabs them and I grab most of these, we should be fine. So his deployment, I've already kind of talked about it, but he's got his 2 Tundra Wolf regiments with their items over there, on kind of his left in that terrain, so that they don't get shot so easily. We have a Snow Troll Prime in front of them and Snow Foxes in front of them. So that's kind of like a one battle group over there. And I think that this Snow Troll Prime was the one with the Hex. I think so. And then over here, well, there's 2 Night Raiders troops, I think, in here. Yes, it's hard to see, but I think 2 of the Night Raider troops are in the forest. The Magus Conclaves are also in the forest, and there's also the Troll Prime in the forest. And then we have the 2 hordes of human tribesmen with Snow Foxes on the one side, Snow Foxes behind, so there's Snow Foxes kind of everywhere, and there's another troop of those Night Raiders, and right there at the back there's the Lord with his Brutal Aura. So that's really heavy on this side, but I'm not so worried about it because I'm not sure how these hordes are going to get past this building. So I guess that would be my thing, is, you know, when I'm deploying down such big clunky things as hordes, infantry hordes particularly, either infantry or heavy infantry, I don't even want them opposite a building, say on the other side there, because I feel like just anything where they can get blocked from wheeling or turning, or they can get stuck as they might be reforming after a combat, is dangerous when it comes to being this close to some blocking terrain like this. So, you know, if I were Oz, here I am just providing, I might have put one of these hordes here in that middle gap right here instead of all the way out there. But then he does have a lot to lay claim to these tokens here. So, you know, there is a good reason, and it's getting tokens, which is ultimately the aim of the game. So let's get into the game after we look at some units. So these are actually the Tundra Wolves, and I can see why he wants to use Tundra Wolves over Sons of Korgan, because there are no Sons of Korgan models, and if you want to stick to Mantic, there's actually no good human Mantic Knights models. Like, there's just none. And I really wish there was a good Mantic Knight model, because I mean, imagine if they just made a generic Knight kit, like just Knights, and all it needed was, it came with a couple different heads. Maybe there's evil Knight head, Bissell Horseman, or Sons of Korgan, or Good Knight head. You know, you got that where you get your Paladins, and then kind of just generic Knight head, like just a salad helm or something. So then you can make Kingdoms of Men Knights. So, you know, that would be really cool, because I guess apart from Riftforged games, you could 3D print some various Knight stuff. I've seen some cool stuff that's pseudo-Bretonian, but anyway, way off topic. Nice Tundra Wolves and a nice Snow Troll there, and the Snow Foxes. And then over here, well, we've got all the human tribesmen. He does have them painted this way because he likes to also run them as Draugr, and he has them painted in this kind of blue fashion because it's actually like, you know, the army of the dead from the White Walkers from Game of Thrones. So that, you know, the glowing blue skin, the glowing blue eyes, and essentially just wildlings that have been turned undead. So these are actually a lot of Draugr as well, if he so chooses. But these are human tribesmen for sure in this round. And yeah, the cool half-elf berserkers, Night Raider models are personal favorites of mine because they're just so dynamic. They really look good. And his Magus Conclaves, I took pictures, he's got like an Efreet. He's just got some various cool spellcastery kind of units, always with a red and a blue, and that is really cool duality that I thought, oh, that's unique, that's cool, I really liked it. Yes, and then these ones over here are more, oh yeah, White Walker kind of looking. Turn 1. So, I get turn 1, which is great, which means I can just push up, and since most of the stuff isn't in any kind of difficult terrain, i.e. all my slow orcs, I could go at the double right forward. The only thing that couldn't go at the double were my Amber Oxen, because I wanted to make sure I could shoot with them, because there are some juicy targets, lots of defense 4, so I don't want to waste a turn just moving them up, so they're kind of like this, hanging back, but I don't really see myself getting much further than this midline point, because I feel like he's going to come forward and engage me. And the Hellstrikers just moved up to here. So this way I can kind of have this obstacle that's in my frontage, so anything that charges is going to go over an obstacle. And things have got Pathfinder, but they do not have Strider. So that will help the Hellstrikers take any charge. I'm pretty sure, I measured out that these guys, the Tundra Wolves, can charge pretty far, and I was like, you know what, I'll just give it to them. I'll just let them. But with all these different obstacles in the way, I can't see them being able to break anything that's on offer here. And that's just a different angled picture. I did do the shooting. Here it is, some evidence. So I managed to waver one of these troops. That's pretty good. That's just going to reduce the amount of shooting that turn 1. And here is his turn 1. So Oz decided, well, yes, I've moved right up. There's not much more to do apart from charge straight in. So the whole left flank here, that whole battle group has gone in. We've got one of these, one of the Tundra Wolves that went straight into my Hellstrikers. So they are hindered indeed. You can see the hindered token there. And I think that, yeah, that's the Brew of Strength one there. You can see that's it said there, Brew of Strength. Whereas the Blessing of the Gods ones managed to go in unhindered because the way that the Snow Foxes go in, they go for first, they slide across, and then these guys could just go, they could just boom, straight forwards. They didn't have to pivot whatsoever, really, so they didn't have to clip that. So, you know, they do have a chance of doing some decent damage, if ever there was a chance. And we got the Snow Troll Prime running up here, just trying to, he wanted to do some hexing, and he certainly did. Very annoying. Everywhere else, it's just kind of moving up, getting a bit blocked up, because, yeah, you can see he wants to bring in these human tribesmen, but already he's blocking himself up, because these human tribes are in the way. Everyone's in the way. And then there's this troop of Night Raiders in the way, and the Snow Foxes are in the way. There's like 3-4 layers before these guys could potentially get into combat. Now, what are these Snow Foxes doing? Well, they've gone up and grabbed an objective. They've done a sneaky. What they've done is they've just sprinted up, turned on the spot, and then they could pick it up at the end of their movement phase. So they're ready to just bolt off that way with the 2 victory point tokens. That's 2 victory points right there on those Snow Foxes. The other Snow Foxes have done exactly the same thing, but the 1 victory point token. Apparently this is what he did last game, and he won with it. The difference is, I'm pretty sure he would have gone first in that case. Whereas in this case, I'm going first. And so I'm already here. So I was kind of a bit perplexed when he went and grabbed it and then just showed me his butt. Like with these, with the Snow Foxes, because I was thinking, yeah, I've got a lot of stuff here that can really. I mean, it's also, you know, it's not the best plan, because by jumping in there and trying to kill them and take that token, I am therefore myself going to get killed, and then it's them that are going to get it. So that would be the way he's probably looking at it. It's just like, well, yeah, you can go get it, sure, but then you're going to get human tribesmen in every angle. So, yeah, I get it, but. Yeah, I was a bit perplexed still, because it's definitely within striking distance of my army, and right there, and they're just Snow Foxes. So now I just need to think of a way of being able to get it off them without losing the unit immediately. So there we go, just showing the token grabbing. Units coming in, and 1 token in the middle. I'm just taking pictures of the tokens. Didn't you like that? I did get some shooting, so the Magus Conclaves managed 2 damage onto this unit of Riftforged Orcs. And this devastated tokens, and they're not devastated, but it is hexed. So there's now a hex shrine, and I was just saying before, like, there's 1 unit, and it is the shrine, because the shrine has this cool ability, really cool. It can just cast spells like bang, 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 Bane Chant, Shadow Beast, Bane Chant, Bane Chant. It can do them again and again with reducing the amounts of dice with each cast, but it can do it in a chain reaction. Not if you're hexed. You can't do that with your hex. You'll end up on 10 damage by the time you're done. And also, I usually tend to want to move this thing because it's my source of inspiring. So I move it, I can't cast either. That's the other part of Hex. So hexing this thing really, really sucks. So yes, thankfully, well, actually, I do say thankfully at the start, but here we are already in combat. So I actually do want to use some Bane Chant. So quite irritating. So these Tundra Wolves, although hindered, did manage to do 7 damage, which is quite a bit, but still needs a 10 twice to take them off, which they did not get. And then over here, also same amount, 7 damage. And these guys weren't hindered, but I guess, you know, Brew of Strength versus Blessing of the Gods, much of a muchness. These guys were hindered. But yeah, 7 damage, but that won't do anything to this particular horde, especially with the War Drum nearby. So they're going to be able to take that quite easily and hit back. Turn 2. So we've got a whole bunch of things. So on the left side, don't look at the right yet, go with the left. So yeah, obviously counter charging, and Thonar goes in. Thonar fell over because it's the wings. But yeah, we're definitely going to try and take out these Tundra Wolves. The Horde decided to actually take out the Snow Foxes, which meant once I did that with Thonar there, they didn't really slide over much. and then I relied on this regiment of unforged orcs going into the flank here of the Tundra Wolves. So I was hoping that would take them off, and they came off the hill, so hopefully they should be able to do the job. So that's what's happened there. And then just to protect these guys, kind of like now I'm looking at it, this doesn't protect anything. But I put down these Riftwalkers here in front of the Snow Troll Prime, being like, yeah, I'll put it here. But that's, yeah. Anyway, don't know what I was thinking. I think I was just thinking, well, it would prevent something from hitting my Riftforged Orc horde. But yeah, I put the Riftwalkers there. So there they are. And then I've still got a lot of units kind of sitting back here because of these Night Raiders, because the Night Raiders are still a dab hand in combat. And what actually happened here on the right was Operation Get That Token, but not leave that token. And so what I decided was the best way, after thinking for, I guess, a couple minutes, but you know, in his turn, you do the thinking in their turn and then do the thing. I decided the best thing to do was to charge this Night Raider troop with this regiment here. So this was the regiment that was originally looking at that button. It was very tempting to do a rear charge with orcs, and it could have been spectacular. But what I thought would be better is I instead just throw these guys in and try and, it's already quite jammed up here, and I just wanted to jam it up some more. So send in these orcs, get right here so that there's this troop, there's my orcs, there's this horde, there's this horde, they can't all get in, it'll all be very difficult to take out this horde straight away. And then at the same time, the ones that can actually kill these snow foxes and take the token will be the reborn legionaries, which are all the way back here, quite far you would say, but with my wild charge D3, they were able to make the distance and get into the flank. And a flank with the reborn legionaries, they got crushed, yeah, no problem, they'll be fine, they'll do the job. So the idea is they take it, they're going to finish that combat, they're going to start going backwards, and the moment they clear this building, and I've still got an Ambrox here as well that can kind of just jump forward and sacrifice itself, but really the whole goal of these reborn legionaries is just to back up, and get away with a 2-point token. And hopefully I can get the other 2-point token, which is somewhere underneath this scrum, and with those two alone, that clinches victory. So that's kind of my plan. Yeah, but holding here in the middle, I don't want to, nothing was really in range. I couldn't really charge out, and I didn't want to push out because I don't want to give a Snow Troll Prime a flank on anything. So I've just got my nice Ambrox here, just shooting away, and hopefully we'll do some more damage to some of these Night Raider troops. So yeah. Oh no, not Night Raider troops. I think I was shooting these guys. Can't tell the number of damage, but I was shooting this horde because they're sitting there on the hill, and why not? Because they're defense 4. So gotta make a start. Yes, we do. So the Hellstrikers and Thonar, especially with Thonar's help, I seem to recall that Thonar did a ridiculous amount of damage, and then the Hellstrikers were quite dismal. But in the end, Tundra Wolves are dead, and we move forward with the Hellstrikers. The Snow Foxes also perished to the horde of Riftforged Orcs because, well, it's a horde of Riftforged Orcs. But unfortunately, the flanking, thunderous charging off the hill, Unforged Orcs, 7 damage, not enough. So yeah, they managed to get in, tickle them a bit, but they're going to be able to countercharge. But most things were dealt with, but that means these guys have got a flank to the Snow Troll Prime, which is definitely not being protected by these Riftwalkers. What was I thinking? I tell you, what was I thinking? But yes, over here, both things happened. So these Riftforged Orcs managed in the front to kill a troop of Night Raiders, which, you know, but it's 12 attacks. They should do it, but 12 attacks can sometimes be pretty, like, meh. It's like with dragons, right? So I was pretty happy that managed to happen. So now they're just right there, ready to get probably charged by one or both, but maybe not both, because it'll be very hard to get them all in, especially with all the units here that are in the way. And you can see there's the device that is holding up my unit while it's kind of just precariously perched on the edge of the hill, because we have this cool device that can sit underneath it. So that's pretty cool. And already, yes, the reborn legionaries have taken the token, put it on the couch, and gradually moved backwards. So we just moved backwards at D3. So we've got a 2-point token, now we just need to keep it. At this moment, nothing can charge it. They'll have to charge these. And so this is his Oz's turn with the Varangur. So we have the Tundra Wolves gone back into the front right. There you can see they've shuffled sideways into the Riftforged. The Snow Troll's gone for the tasty flank, which is good news because I'm not going to get hexed, so I can get rid of that token, thankfully. And then over on the right side, we have a nice double charge with the Snow Troll and the one Horde. So this Horde has to still sit back. So human tribesman Horde going into my Riftforged Legionaries. That's just the regiment of the normal dudes. While these Night Raiders, I managed to do some damage to them, but no more waivers. So they're coming out ready to start pelting me with their axes, while the Maguses have come out to also shoot as well. Now, I think the Maguses were coming out of cover because they wanted to start shooting the Hellstrikers, and so they just decided to move out here and start shooting Hellstrikers because they identified them as a credible threat, because now there's nothing to stop these Hellstrikers, so start putting some damage on those. And damage they do, so I think they're already on 7, so it's just 1 more damage. And then I would have taken 6, so yeah, 2 damage, because I've got life leech, I would have got some back, but yeah, so putting some damage on there. They don't like that, so it's getting closer to where they could just get wavered and sit there. Over here, some more damage from all those axes, so these guys are definitely worth being wary of. 9 damage in total, which probably would have included just the 2 axes, and maybe one of the Magus Conclaves was not facing the other way, but yeah, so some damage going there. So that's not helpful either. But yeah, there we go, turn 3 already. So yeah, well, I kind of got to include now what happened in the turn 2 then, because in Oz's turn 2, he did manage to kill. You can see no more Riftforged Orc there, but still they will not be able to chase down my Reborn Legionary as it backs away. The Unforged Orcs and my Riftforged Horde both survived, because even a troll on the flank is still not that devastating. So we took both counter charges there. We have the Reborn Legionary backing away, and the Amber Ox now offering itself up as tribute and doing a sneaky thing of being next to a building, offering a flank to one, front to the other. It's going to be tricky for things to, well, they'll be able to take it off certainly, but at least not many things will be able to move, and things will still get blocked up. This unit, this horde of tribesmen, has been blocked up most of the game just because of the way everything is, and so yeah, it would have been much better here. So what is happening here? Well, it's utter chaos. So my Hellstrikers, not being wavered, decided to just fly off here and go into, just to get into the thick of it really, is just to hit one of the flanks. I was thinking maybe of going for one of these Magus Conclaves, but the Conclaves don't really matter as much as, say, these really punchy Night Raider troops that can also pick up tokens. So off I go into the flank of a Night Raider troop. My very damaged now Riftforged infantry unit has gone into the other Night Raider troops, so hopefully I take out both the Night Raider troops that came off the hill, so I guess for what it's worth, although I think they're only defense 3 and I'm crushing 1 already, so doesn't matter. And then we got a token picked up by the War Drum. So the War Drum, very helpful in that it's a monster, so it's just gone down, picked it up, and so now I've got this 2-point token here, so I've managed to pick it up because it was underneath. 2-point token over here, and these Tundra Wolves doing pretty good. 12 damage so far racked up on these, but still, it might be 6 inches of the War Drum, but even 21, 23, you need a bit more damage to really take him out. And Thonar has come into the fight, so I think Thonar's going to finish that off very quickly. He's bloody James Bond, that's what he is. And the Riftforger is yet to get engaged because he was out of range. I think he was back here, so he's just kind of waddled over and getting ready to hit someone eventually. Just sometime. But yeah, the Ambrox in the front, and these Ambrox ready to shoot, so we're hoping to do even more damage to this beleaguered horde of tribesmen that are just kind of stuck there. So we managed to take out this, well, we took out both troops. Voila! So, I mean, obviously a flank of Hellstrikers into a poor little troop of defense 3 guys, there's no hope for them, and I just keep facing the same way. But this one was a bit more unexpected, because again, the 12 attacks, you're never quite sure, but I managed to plow through them, and now we're also facing that way. So I fully expect these guys to die with their 9 damage, but at least they've managed to kill something, and they've been drawing firepower, so they can just offer themselves up as tribute while my War Drum gets away with the token. Yeah, just showing. Oh, and yes, so the Riftwalkers, that's what happened. So yeah, back there, Riftwalkers. So those Riftwalkers that I kind of put there and did nothing, I just thought, all right, why not send them to the Magus Conclave? And to the Magus Conclave they went and took it out. Very helpful that they have Strider, so it's like one of the only units in the entire Unforged Orcs that has like train mitigation. So managed to take it out, and so now they're free to go as well. So a useful little unit, especially 10 attacks, melee 4, crushing strength 1 is pretty good, especially into a war machine. And with Thonar's help, the Riftforged Orcs are definitely free, so we've got that token secured there, and I probably won't even move them now. Probably just keep them over there because, there's no point getting them any closer, especially considering they're a bit damaged already. Over here, the damage, we did do some shooting. I think that's what we're showing here. Shooty. So some shots. And it's Oz's turn. So yeah, I'm not quite sure what this picture was showing, but I guess the fact that I was walking away. So charges happen. So this horde here, the one of the whiter tribesman horde, goes into this Ambrox. So I guess my cunning plan wasn't quite. Yeah, no, they must have been in the front. I should have been more cunning, but you know, there we go. So they're in the front, taking out the Ambrox. They definitely will kill it, but the way they're positioned, they will not be able to reform in a way that they can clear the building and then take them out at my reborn the next turn. So they'll spend a turn being kind of stuck. So it's not particularly the best situation. So maybe it was a cunning plan after all. And then over here we have this. I keep calling his hordes Riftforged. My hordes are Riftforged. His hordes are tribesmen. Tribesman horde gone straight into the damaged ones. I fully expect them to do absolutely amazing and destroy them. So they're in there, but they are in a sticky situation in that their reward will be a charge from the Hellstrikers. Over here, the Snow Troll has realized that it doesn't matter if it keeps plugging away at these unforged orcs, which have only got 5 damage on them. It's better if it goes and takes the chance of taking out this horde of legionaries. So he's seen that they're damaged, 12 damage, got the 2-point token. It's definitely worthwhile to go down there and clobber them. So it's kind of done the whole, just turned and charged away, being nimble and all. So off it went, and there's not much I can do about it apart from hit it back and also Thonar, but hopefully I won't drop that token. So yeah, this is the situation. And the other Snow Troll Prime has decided that Ambrox is doing a bit too much damage and has gone to beat one into Bug Goo. So Bug Goo indeed. These guys are wavered. I think that was from some shooting, so that must have been the remaining. Yeah, the remaining Magus Conclave was making headway into move and shoot there. So, spoiler, I was going the wrong way around. So yeah, Magus Conclave managed to shoot there. Ambrox died definitely here. So the horde of tribesmen is now free, but you can see there was no real good way to reform. He wanted to clear it, so I guess that now they can at least see it. But they're giving a flank to my reborn. So yeah, that's not a good situation. What I would have done, I guess you want to kill the Ambrox, but yeah, maybe just moved here. But I think, I can't see how much damage I've done to them in terms of shooting, but I think I'm putting, you know, it's always the thing, is when you start putting damage on it, you start getting a bit like anxious, like, oh, I don't want to lose it, I want to get something out of it, so you just start making a bit more not great decisions. But yes, the regiment did not withstand the might of that horde of tribesmen, so the tribesmen are now free and facing the Hellstrikers. They've already had some damage on them, but it's literally just Hellstrikers that can go into them, so we'll see how that goes. Turn 4. But I decided not to go into the horde of tribesmen. I decided that the real threat was this horde of tribesmen over here. So not that horde, this horde. So the Hellstrikers jumped right over it, boom, and then with the help of a flank from the Reborn, I just wanted to make sure that this token was absolutely not threatened. So that's why I sent everything over there. You can see that the Snow Troll Prime managed to do 2 damage on my horde of legionaries, but you know, 2 damage still not quite getting it there. You'd have to roll pretty hot twice. So now I'm going to destroy that Snow Troll Prime with Thonar exclusively. Thonar's going to do it, not the horde. Well, this horde of tribesmen, I decided I'd just multi-charge with a Ambrox of a Hill, which is very fearsome indeed, the Riftforger, which is yet more fearsome, and the Riftwalkers, which I can't really put the enthusiasm to say they're actually fearsome, but you know, they're alright. And then everything else, I'm just kind of, these guys are wavered, so the Unforged Orcs aren't doing much. My War Drum has dropped the token, and the much more defensible and reliable Shrine has picked it up. Because yeah, this War Drum could literally just get shot off by like the Conclave, so I decided to preserve that token on something more worthwhile. So the Shrine is now sitting there, and yeah, well, we've got an Ambrox that's wavered here with a Snow Troll Prime, so what are you going to do? And these Snow Foxes, they've gone off, so there's a token that's definitely in the corner, but I'm trying hard to keep my collection of tokens that I've currently got, so we'll see how that goes. So yeah, Hellstrikers are definitely with the help of a flank from Reborn, managed to do that, got some health back, so their life leech is slowly healing them up, and they're facing now the rear of this horde of tribesmen. The Snow Troll Prime did not survive Thonar because none can survive Thonar, and I decided, okay, time to move them back. Move back my horde of legionaries, just to further get them away from any harm, but I'm sure a Magus is going to keep on, the Magus Conclave will keep trying to ping them off. Over here, we did manage to do a bit of damage, but yeah, it's still It's a kind of a collection of the not so powerfuls, but it's mainly just to hold them up. They can't get away, and we've got a whole bunch of Hellstrikers in the back. And I got a token, I guess, is what I want to show with that. So in his turn, well, the War Drum indeed was not long for this world because the Lord decided to take it on, so it's a good thing it doesn't hold a token anymore. And this fight's continuing with the Snow Troll Prime, and the Magus is over there, just trying to get an angle to shoot down at my horde of legionaries. And so the War Drum definitely gone, so those Lords, they can hit pretty dang hard. And this is cool, this is actually the kind of Northern Alliance Lord model. It's a very nice model. And I think, what did we try here? Did he try to fight back? Oh, yeah, so I guess the danger of charging with an individual, obviously, is they can kill the individual, overrun, kill the next thing, and they did. So, killed it all, turned around, so now it's a front charge for my Hellstrikers. They've been damaged quite a bit, these tribesmen, so it's not all lost, but yeah, definitely not as cunning a plan as originally thought. Here, one more damage, and again the Ambrox is wavered. The Snow Troll Prime just can't quite get through these Ambrox. They are surprisingly tough. Turn 5. And so here we are with turn 5. We're going into the front with the Hellstrikers to take out these tribesmen, and the Unforged Orcs are now marching forward to go take out that bloody Magus Conclave, because I can't let it live and potentially spike and take out my precious orcs with a 2-point token. These reborn legionaries are now perfectly fine, so they're just going to stay right there, but they are looking at the troll in case I can't get rid of that troll. I don't think I really have a plan to get rid of it, so maybe these guys will take it out. But yeah, currently the Snow Troll Prime beating that up, and I'm trying to use Thonar to take out that Lord. And the Hellstrikers do manage to win off and destroy those tribesmen, so the Hellstrikers are now ready. We've got all these things looking at the Snow Troll Prime that's just trying to squish this bug and really struggling to. Even Thonar is finished with the Lord and is just looking at the Snow Troll Prime that's probably quickly losing enthusiasm. And the Magus is trying to hide in the forest, and fair enough, because it's going to get a whole bunch of angry orcs going at them because they just tried to waver them. And the wavering, well, I think this is the Magus Conclave. It must have moved back in, taken some shots, and managed to waver my Hellstrikers. So yeah, 1 damage, and now they're wavered. Wait, no, look, who's there? There it is. There's the Lord. The Lord was not killed. The Lord went off in charge. So this is Oz's turn. Whoops, he just kind of blended with the table with his green cloak. So yeah, went in, wavered them. Not bad at all. And again, the Ambrox is wavered 7 damage, but still not dead. And so the inevitable must happen. With the shrine right here, these guys are Fury. They can countercharge. These guys are flank charging the Snow Troll Prime. Keep trying to give them a Riftforged name. Storm something. Storm Troll Prime. Now that sounds cool. And now Thonar has decided to go deal with the pesky, the Magus Conclave. So we can hopefully take that out as well, just so we can stop shooting. And that's the end. Well, no more pictures, I guess. Well, it's not hard to imagine what would happen from here, because Snow Troll Prime, poor Lord, they wouldn't last. And nothing can last against Thonar, least of all the Magus Conclave, which will triple its attacks. So in the end, I get 2 of the 2 victory point tokens, one of the 1 victory points for a total of 5, versus the 1 on the Snow Foxes over there in the corner. Yeah, so it was a devastating defeat for Oz, and a victory for me. So that's 2 victories now, very, very exciting. And yeah, I was definitely daunted by those giant hordes of tribesmen, but the fact that they were kind of stuck behind each other definitely helped me out, because then I could deal with them piecemeal while also getting a token from under their nose. So I thought when that was all first set up, there would be no way I would get that token, because if those Snow Foxes did not go grab it, I would certainly not just be walking up there and grabbing it, because I'm not fast enough. They would have got there first. But because of the way that all the units came out, I could just kind of just muck it all up, get things in the way, and just kind of walk away with a token on the Reborn, just like that. And the other token over here was definitely easier to get, because I knew I could take out all these Tundra Wolf and stuff, because this is just too much nerve, unless the Tundra Wolves could have combo charged. So maybe that's what he should have done. Maybe the Snow Foxes should have gone off and just tried to waylay the Hellstrikers, and both the Tundra Wolves should have gone into this unit right here to try and do essentially what if it would have been 14 damage, because the Tundra Wolves on the other sides that were hindered did 7 damage to the Hellstrikers, and there was 7 damage done there, so it would have been 14. It would have been this 14, but a 14 is definitely better than a 7 to begin with, and he could have taken them out a lot. Like, it was possible, whereas 7 damage alone, you can't take them out. You can just, the best you can do is waver. So that would have been the best scenario. But even then, it's like if you say 14 damage, it's still not a guaranteed. So you need maybe a Bane Chant in there or something, or the Lord. Even the Brutal would help. So the Lord may be accompanying them. But yeah, I think if those tribesmen were more in the middle, coming forwards, then there might have been a bit better. But I get, the Amber Orcs are a considerable amount of shooting, and so he was trying to also protect his army from that. So, but yeah, he had stuff behind hills, he had stuff in forests, he had stuff in difficult terrain. So there was some kind of shooting mitigation there. But yeah, it was a great game. Oz is great to play against, and yeah, even as my orcs were being so mean to him, he was still quite chipper, and there's some crazy stuff in this game. And yeah, we definitely enjoyed it, and I have reinforced the idea that I need to definitely, keep my army all together, and definitely think about the scenario as well as I'm deploying, because in this one I did think about scenario and it worked out for me. Should have thought about it a bit more. I could have definitely gotten the token over here on the left, but I didn't put anything there. Like, I just got sent off the Riftwalkers to go fight, when the Riftwalkers instead could have gone to pick that up. But that's what I was doing. Or these Unforged Orcs could have gone to, because they just walked up here and then they kind of didn't do anything else. So, and maybe these Orcs could have turned around and just gone that way. So, there are things I could have done to improve how I played this. But still, it was a victory, and that's what matters, right? So yeah, onto round 3. Let's see where I go. If you got any criticism of how I've played this game, or any ideas, tips and tricks, let me know in the comments below. Like, subscribe, all the YouTube stuff that drives the algorithm. You think it's silly, but really, like, literally hitting the like button does help somehow. Like, more liked videos go more bonkers, more. There must be, obviously, as they say, the algorithm. And otherwise, I hope you enjoyed this video. And keep caffeinated. Always got to end with that. Bye.